Hello everybody, this is Alessandro of Scat Italy Tours. Welcome to a new episode, and today I like to tell you 5 things you maybe don't know about Piazza della Signoria, which is the main square of Florence. When we do our tours, we like to mix the must-see highlights together with some anecdotes and some curious stories in order to enrich the experience. So let's start straight to the point with number 1, Savonarola's plate. So let's start from who was Savonarola. Savonarola was a Dominican friar that took the power, actually took the ethical leadership of the town, but he was also very involved into politics, so to keep it easy, he took the power when the Medici were sent off town, because the Medici were exiled 2 times during the centuries that they ruled the town. But in any case, in this case specific, Savonarola, this Dominican friar, took the power, and the 7th of February 1497 he decided, together with his other friars, to do the bonfire of vanity, which meant that they burned all the books, not the Bible, all the art with nudity, all the rich clothes, everything that was considered sinful. And so after that, and he was like going around predicating for going back to the straight values, and the Bible values, and stop bribing, stop corruption, stop drinking, stop having sex out of marriage, refocus on the rightful way. After a couple of years of his rules, they said, enough, we cannot do like this anymore. So they decided to burn him and his companions, his other friars, in the same spot where he had the bonfire of vanity. So that in May the 23rd, 1498, they decided to burn him on that spot where nowadays there is this plate, where usually the people just ignore it, but I think it's a fascinating history. Number 2, David's nose. The statue from Michelangelo, I think that everybody knows, right? But maybe you don't know about the story, the fascinating story of the nose of the statue. Why I'm saying this? So imagine we are in the 1504 in the workshop of Michelangelo. He just completed the statue, and the commission of the town hall, there were the commissioners, let's say, arrived there to admire the statue. Michelangelo, that was very proud, very, touchy also, was showing them with pride, this is the statue. But Mr. Piero Soderini, that was one of the commissioners, said, you know what, Michelangelo, I really like it, but the nose is teeny tiny too big. Can you go up there and make it smaller? Just a little bit. Michelangelo said, all right, he couldn't say no, But what he did was fascinating, because he took his hammer and his chisel, and while taking the chisel, before to go up to the stair to the nose of the David, he also grabbed some marble dust and some little rocks of marble. So he went up, he pretended to hit the statue with his hammer and chisel, but in reality he wasn't hitting that, and he was leaving the marble dust to fall down out of his hand. So he never touched the statue. Then he turned his head and said, what about now? And Mr. Piero Soderini said, mwah, perfecto. Now it's perfect. He never touched it. Number 3, Perseus and the Meduza. This statue is located in the porch just in front of Palazzo Vecchio, which is the main building of the main square of Florence. This story is fascinating because it contains inside, lots of other stories. So first of all, let's start from the artist, Benvenuto Cellini. He got really, really sick with high fever, and he was feeling sick because when he was melting the copper to make the statue, the temperature in the workshop was so high that he got sick, and he actually risked to burn his own workshop. And furthermore, the story says that because of the lack of metal to merge, he decided to throw down inside of the statue all the crockery of his house. Can you imagine his wife like, what you doing? But this is not the story, the fascinating story. The real fascinating story is in the back here of the head of the Perseus. Why is that? Because Benvenuto Cellini was paid almost a third of the price, that he dealt at the beginning of the statue, and because he was paid less, he decided to do a spit, or this is one of the versions of the story. He decided to do a spit by putting a self-portrait in this part of the head of the Perseus. Now I'm going to put you some images. I don't know, can you see that? Can you see it now? We also made a little animation to show you the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Isn't that good? Now you see it, right? Number 4, the intrusive, the importuno, how it's called in Florence. This is really ignored by most of the people passing through the main square of Florence. It's a little tie in a corner of Palazzo Vecchio. I'm going to show you here the exact location. What's fascinating about this story is that there are 2 versions once again, but every story agrees that Michelangelo made it. So the first version of the story, which is the one I like it most, is about the intrusive man. Who was this intrusive man? Michelangelo was really focused on his job, right? So he was going every time around with his hammer and chisel, like kind of being always ready, always with his tools. So when he was walking in the main square of Florence, there was always this intrusive man, so always stopping him and complaining about his life, his wife, his job, and his kids and everything. So the story goes that one day Michelangelo, while he was listening to him, he had his hammer and his chisel, and while he was having his arm in the back, with this guy talking, he decided to make a portrait, not a self-portrait, a portrait of the intrusive man with the hands on his back. And this is the result, the final result. The second version of the story, which is still going around Florence, is that this was about an execution. So while Michelangelo was attending an execution, he was so impressed by the man on the pillory that he decided to make an instant portrait, on the corner of the Palazzo Vecchio, so of the main building of Florence. We also made a little animation to show you how he should have been looking like this intrusive man. Number 5, Hercules and the Persimmon. This is the statue which is just in front of the David, around the main entrance of the main building of the main square of Florence. So this statue was made by Baccio Bandinelli. That was one of the artists living at the same age of Michelangelo. It was finished 1553. But what's interesting is that Baccio was an admirer, a huge fan of Michelangelo, so that he tried to reach, to copy, let's say, Michelangelo, with this majestic statues and everything. But when he put his statue on the side of the David by Michelangelo, everybody in town in 1553 started to make fun and to actually bad fun, of Baccio Bandinelli, the artist. So that from a big fan, he started to be first envious of the David of Michelangelo and Michelangelo himself as an artist, and then to hate him. Somebody says that the face of the Persimmon is looking badly at the David, like if he's disgusted by the David statue. Who knows? These were the 5 things that maybe you don't know about the main square of Florence. First of all, let me thank you for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see the next ones. But most of all, remember to keep safe, because we will travel again and it will be awesome. See ya!